Today, inside of Education Matters, we'll talk with Aiken County Public Schools staff regarding Aiken County's recent PASS and AYP results and the district's new Alternative Education Academy. We'll also take a peek at the school. Up next on Education Matters. Don't change that dial. Welcome inside of Education Matters. My name is Donna Moore Westby, your host, where we're connecting you to the world of education one step at a time. Yes, today is going to be a very informative broadcast. We'll be looking at the Aiken County Public Schools Alternative Education Academy, and we'll also talk about our recent results on PASS, which stands for the Palmetto Assessment of State Standards Test. And to make sure I get that right, and we will speak with Dr. O'Gorman, who is the Associate Superintendent of Instruction right here in Aiken County. So you'll definitely want to stay tuned. Before we get into today's topic, I would like to, of course, thank the sponsors of Education Matters, and they are the Martial Arts Academy under the direction of Mr. Andrew Blocker. Also, the Barner Group Educational Associates, Magnolia Medical Center, Dr. Margot Muniz. Hello, everybody there. And Westby's Products and Services, creator of Dawn Seasoning Delight, all-purpose seasoning and marinade. And we'd also like to thank those individuals we call friends of Education Matters. These are individuals who have pledged their support for broadcasting of Education Matters, and we certainly thank you as well. And they are Isaac and Betty Rucker from Aiken, South Carolina, my parents. How y'all doing today? Also, TC and Robin Edwards out of Augusta, Georgia. Thanks for your support. And then finally, Howard and Loretta Bush, also from Aiken. Thanks to all of you. Because of you, we're able to bring Education Matters to the airwaves every week. I'd also like to again announce this week that a special congratulations goes out to my sister, Miss Tiffany Moore Palmer. Today, Wednesday, August the 17th, is the opening of her dance academy, Total Praise Dance Academy. Today, she is continuing enrollment, and they will offer liturgical, ballet, stretch and meditation, praise dancing, Christian fitness, and also flag and baton. Now, in addition to all different types of dance instruction, there will be two other ladies joining her in that dance academy teaching piano. There'll be an after-school tutoring program, and there'll also be dance instruction for children with special needs. So definitely a great place. You're going to want to check it out. It's located at 342 Jefferson Davis Highway in Graniteville, just prior to getting to Honda Cars of Aiken on the right. For more information, go to totalpraisedance.com, or you can give Tiffany a call on 803-270-7425. Now again, this is for all ages 3 and up. And yes, I'll be there because I need some Christian fitness going on. Yes, Miss Cindy, hopefully you'll watch the pounds dissipate over the next few weeks. So why don't you join me at Total Praise Dance Academy? Okay, Cindy, you're laughing a little bit too long now. Okay, but want to say a big shout out to our broadcast coverage area for Aiken Standard TV. We have viewers in Aiken County, Barnwell County, and Allendale County. So this broadcast is definitely reaching many of you, and it is our prayer that you will tell a neighbor and a friend that broadcast is on every day, 3 times a day, right here on ASTV. And you can also go to my website, and that website is www.edmat.com, short for Education Matters, okay? All right, moving right along to this week's Education Matters tip of the week. Every week we do give you a practical tip so that you can hopefully be helped in your own home. So this week's tip is, if your child is concerned about his or her school course schedule, The first or second week of school is the time for you and your child to meet with guidance counselors to make changes. Now, some of that may be a little different in terms of the schedule, so make sure you check your school's handbook, which will cover policies and timelines listed for changing schedules, okay? That is this week's tip of the week. Now we'll quickly move right into, yes, gotta ring my bell. That sound means it's Word of the Week time inside of Education Matters, and this week's Word of the Week is disseminate. Disseminate, and I'll spell that for you. Disseminate. And disseminate is a verb, and it means to scatter far and wide, spread abroad, as if sowing. And I'll use that in a sentence for you. The purpose of this broadcast, Education Matters, is to positively disseminate information relating to academia or any topic that provides us with knowledge. Okay? That is your tip of the week and your word of the week. Now, every week inside of Education Matters, we do give you a new tip of the week and the word of the week. And as a reminder, with those words of the week, go again to that website, edmat.com, and you will see a running list of my words of the week. And as we've said oftentimes inside of Education Matters, this is a great list to help your children, particularly your high school students, to learn new words, to prepare them for the SAT and ACT standardized exams. Now, on my website, you will see a column for this week's resources, and I've already listed for you the website for collegeboard.org and ACT.org because registration is open right now for the October 1st SAT date and the September 10th ACT date. Okay? All right, very good. Well, I covered a lot in that little short period of time, but we're now going to get right into our topic for today and find out what is on the horizon for Aiken County Public Schools. Joining me today inside of Education Matters is Dr. Kevin O'Gorman, who again is the Associate Superintendent of Instruction for Aiken County Public Schools. I'm going to shake your hand because you've been here before, so welcome back to Education Matters.
Thank you for having me.
All right. We are going to do a couple of things today. One is talk about our PASS and AYP results. And then, of course, something else we're going to do later on in the broadcast is certainly near and dear to my heart. It's talking about the Alternative Education Academy, and we'll bring in a young lady, Miss Anne Marie Taylor.
Correct.
Who is helping us in the district. So this is going to be a great broadcast today. But why don't we start off talking about the Palmetto Assessment of State Standards. First of all, tell us the whole purpose of that test.
PASS is administered to students in grades 3 through 8. It is considered a summative test. That means that it essentially tells us whether or not students have met grade level standards in science, social studies, English and math, and writing by the end of the school year.
Okay, so again, this test is given for 3rd through 8th graders every year.
Correct.
Okay, and parents, just so you know, you should already have this information on the Aiken County Public Schools calendar that you should have received on registration day or certainly during this first week of school. But just so you know, the writing portion of PASS will take place March 20th through the 21st, okay? March 20th through the 21st. And then we'll have makeup May 8th through the 18th. So actually, there are some other portions. I missed that. When are the other portions of the test given?
The writing is given earlier in the school year.
Okay.
And that's different than it has been in years past. So.
Okay, all right, making sure I got that right. Okay, let's look at our very first slide, and it kind of gives us a summation of the PASS results for all students. Walk us through that, Dr. Gorman, as we put that up on the screen.
When you look at the PASS results, you'll see that they're for each slide, or excuse me, for each line is specific to subject areas. Writing this past year was done a little bit different than in years past. It was given just to 5th and 8th graders
Okay.
this past school year, and that was due to budget cuts and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
So this graph, what we did is we took the 5th and 8th grade students in 2010 and compared them to 5th and 8th grade students in 2011.
Okay.
And you see there's a slight increase there, about 2 percentage points of students achieving there, which is sort of contradictory to the ELA score, which you see there in purple. There was a decrease of about 1%. So the writing scores and ELA scores are actually separate on this assessment.
Okay.
The math scores there in green, you see about a 2% increase, and then your science and social studies are almost a flat line.
Okay, so we're at least seeing some improvement with the exception of ELA. Now, what has happened there? Have you been able to deduce why we have gone down some in that area?
We're still digging into the subgroup data for
Yeah.
ELA. Definitely we saw an improvement of our African American students and our free and reduced students. And the ELA scores from school to school were very inconsistent, which is different this year. So we're still
Okay.
looking into what's happening in school by school situations.
Okay, and again, viewers, that ELA stands for English Language Arts, and this PASS test is given to 3rd through 8th graders, and this test is a replacement of what used to be called the
PACT.
PACT, P-A-C-T.
Correct.
Now, there are many individuals out there who question the relevance or the necessity of tests like this. What is the current opinion?
My current opinion, I
Oh,
guess.
yeah.
I think that one of the pluses of the PASS compared to the PACT is that it provides us with formative information. We used to get basically a statement that said the student passed or they failed, but there was
Okay.
no information as to why.
Okay.
It didn't drill down to specific standards.
Okay.
So with PASS, we're getting information in ELA, for example, that might say the student was really strong in informational text, but weak in literary text. So the information we're getting from PASS is much more prescriptive in nature. We get a lot more information than we used to. So
Okay.
that's very beneficial. In years past, it felt like what has been called accountability testing, which is what this is, was basically just to pass judgment on schools and students, whether they passed or failed. And there wasn't enough information to really change what the teacher was doing in the classroom.
Okay.
Now, we still can get better at this with Common Core standards coming in the years to come. The new test in 2014-15 is supposed to be administered 3 to 4 times a year, which gives very specific information back to the teacher about the strengths and weaknesses of individual students.
Okay.
So that's where we want to get with in terms of testing. We want information that the teacher can actually use to change what they're doing in the classroom to meet the needs of the child.
And I think if the process were handled in that way, there probably would not be as much controversy. But when we hear of different, not our district, but in some districts where there is cheating going on and there are other questionable practices, it seems as if it forces, in some degree, schools to be pressured to teach according to the test, and the teachers are not able to really teach the way they believe a child should be taught, and it causes problems there.
Right. Right, and also with the modernization of technology, the way that results are reported back to schools is much more timely now. So it kind of, in years past, a lot of those tests were hand scored, and it took months and months to get reports back to the schools. So because of the way it was scored, information wasn't provided in such a way that it was beneficial to teachers, like we were saying.
Right.
But with Common Core, I understand that those tests are going to be online,
Okay.
and the results should be immediate. And,
Wow.
and again, the purpose being, it's for the students and for the teacher. It's not to hold people accountable.
Now, there's another test, and we're going to get back to the slides in just a moment, that our students have to take, and that's MAP, Measures of Academic Performance, I think it's correct. What's going to be the difference in MAP and the Common Core Standards test?
It's a good question. Actually, from what I'm reading about Common Core and that assessment and how it's being developed, it's almost identical to what we're doing with measures of
Okay.
academic progress. So it should be pretty close aligned. And so if we do get to that point, we may move away from MAP, and it may be that MAP actually becomes the test that's used
Okay.
for Common Core.
Okay, all right. And continuing to look at the past data, one of the subgroups or two of the subgroups we'll look at are free and reduced. And let's go ahead and look at that, and then African American. So just for our viewers, because I think the legend may have been cut off, in red is the number for social studies, orange is science, green is math, blue is writing, and then again purple is English language arts. Talk to us about that.
Well, the pattern for free and reduced is very similar to what you saw for all students, with the exception of social studies. You see a much, not much, but an increase in social studies for free and reduced, where you did not necessarily see that for all students. You do see the increase in writing scores, the slight decline there for ELA, so those scores are pretty consistent with what we saw for all students.
Okay. Now, how does this data compare to the state of South Carolina's data with regard to free and reduced? You have any thoughts on that?
Pretty similar. What I've not seen for the state is for free and reduced yet is the social studies score to see how
Okay.
that teases out.
Okay.
And our our math scores are a little bit different than the state's. 2 years ago, we went through a new adoption of math standards and math textbook. Aiken chose a different textbook than most of the other districts. We went with one that had a lot of online resources. And getting teachers trained in using those resources has caused us to lag in performance. So this increase in math scores that we've seen looks like the teachers are finally understanding how to use those textbooks better.
In Aiken County Public Schools, and actually in the districts of our broadcast coverage area, Barnwell County and Allendale County, there are significant portions of their students who are on free and reduced lunches. And I'm encouraged, or on classified free and reduced, I'm encouraged that we're seeing the numbers go in a positive direction, which then allows me to think of another question, and that is, does poverty have a direct correlation with student achievement?
Absolutely, and that's one of the sets of data that we look at every year. We look at the poverty level of the school, the achievement level of the school as measured by the state report card. We actually pull every school in the state out and compare their achievement level to their poverty level, and we pull all those schools out on a graph. You can see plain as day, the higher the poverty level of the school, typically the lower the performance. So we try to beat those odds with what we're doing in Aiken County.
Okay, and if you will briefly talk about a couple of the things, or a few of the things that we are doing in Aiken County to help bring these numbers up as we're seeing.
Sure. We've provided a reading specialist as an interventionist in every elementary school in the district. We've provided 5 interventionists at the middle school level in some of our Title I middle schools. So those interventionists actually pull students out, meet the needs that they have in terms of reading, and they also sometimes push into the classroom, so they'll go in and assist students as well as pull them out. We've created a literacy model that helps the teacher organize his or her classroom so that they can do whole group, small group, and one-on-one instruction. So they aren't just teaching whole group anymore. We're really helping them tailor their instruction to the needs of every student.
And I would imagine that utilizing, as you stated, information that we're able to receive from PASS and then MAP helps us to really target the individual needs of that child and then develop their the instruction that's needed.
Right. The information that we get from the MAP, which we administer 3 times a year, gives us very prescriptive information that the teacher can use right away to create small group and whole group instruction lessons.
And although we're talking about PASS specifically right now, since we have mentioned MAP, measures of academic progress, I want to remind you parents that the test dates are actually coming up. I know we've just started school, but you need to be aware that MAP testing will take place September the 6th through the 26th, okay? That's the session for fall. So it's going to be imperative that you make sure to write those dates down so that you can make sure your child has a great breakfast, has plenty of rest, and all of those things, because these tests are extremely important. Let's move on now to the slide for African Americans, okay? Dr. O'Gorman?
As you can see, this is a slightly different pattern than what we saw before, although similar to free and reduced. You see the increase there, pretty significant for social studies. The math also increasing, and that writing increasing. Well, you still see that dip in ELA. But I was very much encouraged by these scores. It looks like we're definitely making some progress in terms of closing the achievement gap.
Well, I'm going to be somewhat what's the right word? Self-promoting here, and I'm just going to take
your
some
show.
credit.
You have the right to do that.
I'm going to ring my bell on that. But really, I have been broadcasting Education Matters on the radio for, it'll be 3 years in February, and just started with this broadcast in March. And all we do is put out information such as this, telling parents what they need to do to help their child succeed. We talk about supplemental education services. We talk about tutoring. We give them tips on how to be good parents and how to be involved. And a whole segment of those listeners and viewers have typically been disengaged from that process. So I'm gonna, it may not be able to be proven with a test, but I'm just being very hopeful that the broadcast is making an impact. Certainly when we're seeing positive numbers like this, and then we look at the next slide, which is another good slide in the moment that we have left, the achievement gap slide. What is this telling us?
Well, we want to see those bars going in a downward slope, and as you can see, they are going down. And although some of those, when you look at it on the screen, especially math, might look like a flat line, every one of them went down. So this definitely shows that we are closing the achievement gap.
And quickly, for those who may not understand what the achievement gap is, explain that for us.
That is the measure of the difference in scores for Caucasian students and African American students on this particular slide. We do a lot of studies. We try to keep this limited.
I don't know how you keep up with everything, I tell you.
We also compare free and reduced to full-paced students. I'm referring to lunch meals and that sort of thing. So, but this is specific to Caucasian and African American students.
Wonderful. Well, that is definitely good news. And for those of you who are watching Aiken County, you just keep on watching, as well as the state of South Carolina. I believe there are many dedicated teachers and administrators who really have a heart for children. There are more parents getting involved. Do we have the large numbers that we really want? Well, we're working on it, and that's why it's going to take each of us doing our part so that we can continue to see the positive numbers we want to see. After a few messages from our sponsors, we'll come back and talk with Dr. Gorman about AYP, and then we'll bring on Miss Anne Marie Taylor, who is helping us with our Alternative Education Academy. All right? We'll be right back.
Need positive and constructive after-school activities for your children? Call the Martial Arts Academy in Aiken under the direction of International Olympic trainer Andrew Blocker. The Martial Arts Academy offers an award-winning approach to teaching Taekwondo. It's an effective approach to instilling discipline. The Martial Arts Academy also offers self-defense and fitness classes for all ages. Enroll today in this affordable program by calling 803-642-5723 or visit the studio at 2398 Whiskey Road in Aiken. The Martial Arts Academy, positively changing the lives of youth and adults.
I lead a busy life, but I still have to make sure my family eats right. And everybody loves Dawn's Seasoning Delight. I use Dawn's on meats and vegetables. It's healthy, tastes great, and it's simple to use. It's like having a chef in a bottle.
My seasoning is available at Kroger, Bi-Lo, Food Line, Roots, and Harvest. Look for it on display in the meat department. Also visit seasoningdelight.com for information and recipes. Dawn's Seasoning Delight. It's so good.
Next time on Education Matters, learn about a foundation that's making it achievable for individuals needing English as a second language assistance, and learn about how you can volunteer to help within the organization. Mark your calendars and tell a friend. We'll see you next time on Education Matters with Donna Moore Westby, right here on ASTV Channel 95.
Does your child or grandchild need help in reading or math, or can benefit from preparatory coursework for the HSAP, ACT, or SAT? If so, contact the Barner Group Educational Associates. Our staff specializes in formatting an individualized approach to assisting your child academically. We offer low-cost tutorial services and educational programs. Participants may qualify for free services. To learn more, call for Alicia Cuthbertson of the Barner Group Educational Associates, 1-888-TBG-3996.
Total Women's Healthcare means treating the women physically, emotionally, and everything in between. At Magnolia Medical Women's Center, we treat and diagnose common and unusual medical problems related to female health. Magnolia Medical Center is a premium high-level obstetrics and gynecology clinic for women of all ages. Our clients receive the time they deserve without feeling rushed and unimportant. We are located in the Aiken Medical Center, 410 University Parkway in Aiken, Suite 2300. Call us today at 803-649-6366.
When it comes to grilling, I'm the man. Using Dawn Seasoning Delight, I'm the grill master.
My seasoning is available at Kroger, Buy Low, Food Line, Reeds and Harvest. Look for it on display in the meat department. Also visit seasoningdelight.com for information and recipes. Dawn Seasoning Delight. It's so good.
Dawn Seasoning Delight is so good.
Welcome back inside of Education Matters. My name is Donna Moore Westby, your host, and we're connecting you to the world of education one step at a time. If you're just joining us today in the broadcast, we're talking about the wonderful things on the horizon for Aiken County Public Schools. Here joining me in the studio is Dr. Kevin O'Gorman, who is the Associate Superintendent for Instruction right here in Aiken County Public Schools. And also joining us for this next segment is Miss Anne Marie Taylor. And we're very excited to have her with us, and you'll find out in just a moment why we're excited for Aiken County. But before we do that, Dr. O'Gorman, we wanted to finish out our discussion on PASS, and also quickly talk about AYP. So you had a thought that you wanted to share with our parents today.
Well, we're talking about measures of academic progress and how teachers use that throughout the school year to get information to drive their instruction.
Right.
Sometimes students don't perceive that test as being very important because it is a little bit more of a relaxed atmosphere when they take it. They go in typically in a computer lab and they take it online. But we need students to put forth their best effort on that test, because the harder they try on that test, the better information we get back that the teacher can use to drive instruction. So it's imperative they do their best on MAP.
Excellent. And again, parents, the dates for all of these standardized exams that we're talking about is listed on the Aiken County calendar that you received during registration, or certainly this week while your child has been in school. All right, Dr. Gorman, let's continue with our slides and talking about AYP. Before I do that, I did have another thought, and I need to apologize, James. Sorry about that. How does PASS tie in with No Child Left Behind?
No Child Left Behind requires that every state define what proficient means. And proficient basically means on grade level. So every state was allowed to come up with their own definition of what on grade level meant, synonymous with proficient. So actually before No Child Left Behind came out, South Carolina passed the Education Accountability Act, which is where PACT was first developed. And so as a state, we had already defined what proficient meant. And when No Child Left Behind came out and said that proficient meant on grade level, well, in South Carolina, we defined on grade level as basic, and proficient actually being a step above on grade level. So we kind of shot ourselves in the foot by not redefining proficient when No Child Left behind came out and,
Okay.
you know, kind of gauge that. So the number of students that we have on grade level on pass now is when No Child Left Behind came out and,
Okay.
you know, kind of gauge that. So the number of students that we have on grade level on pass now is our measure for adequate yearly progress.
Okay, all right. So, in other words, it's somewhat of a skewed thought for people to look at what South Carolina's results are because we had a higher standard than possibly some other states.
Right. Every state teaches currently different standards, and they have a different test. The only thing that's common is a definition for proficient,
Okay.
but that definition might be different for South
Yes,
Carolina and Georgia.
yes.
It's like me saying I define fast as how fast I run 50 yards, and you define fast by how fast you
I
run a
eat.
mile.
Okay,
or
okay.
Yeah, or how fast you eat. That's right.
Okay, good deal. All right, let's take a look at AYP. What does AYP stand for?
Adequate yearly progress.
Okay. So in Aiken County, let's take a look at our Aiken County Public Schools. 94.6%. What does that mean?
Well, in Aiken County, we have 37 objectives by
Okay.
which we are measured to meet adequate yearly progress.
Okay.
So the idea is that for every subgroup you see listed, you see all students, you see white students, African Americans, so on and so forth. Every one of those is supposed to be at grade level for English, language arts, and math. It's about 79% that we have to have on grade level. And so you see the yeses there, and so wherever you see a yes, that's an objective that we met. And where you see the no's is where we didn't meet that objective. And the only two that you see are for the disabled population.
Right.
So we made 94.6% of our objectives. We met 35 out of 37 objectives.
And isn't that somewhat of, I don't know the right word for it, it kind of gives the wrong view of the school district when it says a school did not meet AYP, because just as we're seeing here for the whole district, we only missed 2 of the objectives.
Right.
And someone may interpret that as, well, this district is not doing what it needs to do.
Right. Right. So you really have to dig into the data
Right.
to see exactly where the problem is,
And one of the things,
or if there's a problem.
right. And what we try to do in your school board meetings is that is one of the places where the information, you get an opportunity to dig deeper. The directors are giving the information to the board as well as the public, so it kind of gives you that insight that you need instead of just reading what might come in a newspaper article that doesn't give the full story.
Right.
All right, very good. Okay, let's talk about the schools that have met AYP, and it's a very interesting situation here that we have here in Aiken County Public Schools. We're going to skip the spotlight slide and go to the very next one that says schools meeting AYP. Dr. O'Gorman, why are there no high schools on this list?
Well, there were only about, I think about 20 or 26 high schools in the state that made AYP.
Wow.
And, you know, it varies. The high school measurement for AYP is very different than elementary and middle school. With high
Okay.
schools, you're looking at graduation rate, end of course, HSAP,
Okay.
you know, a number of measures there.
Okay.
Um,
But the good news is we did have schools, Busby Corbett Elementary Middle, Clearwater, Gloverville Elementary, Hammond Hill Elementary, Millbrook Elementary, Redcliffe, New Ellington, North Augusta Middle, and then one of the charter schools, Aiken Performing Arts Academy. Now when we think about early childhood education, obviously you will find educators who believe that the sooner you're able to start getting these children educated, then the better off they'll be, the greater the likelihood that they'll stay in school.
Right.
Well, with many of our elementary schools meeting AYP, is that the way we should look at it?
The way I look at AYP and how it's measured in 2011, if an elementary school made AYP, they really have gone above and beyond expectation. That's an outstanding measure. And I think if you look at schools and districts across the state, those schools that made AYP are just doing outstanding jobs, because it's a tough measure now, and we certainly need tough measures. Do I think it's a fair measure to say a school is or isn't doing their job based on AYP? Absolutely not. You've got to go through it, like we've said before, and look at a number of test scores and measures to determine that.
For our viewers watching today who may not have children in the schools and they read different articles in the newspaper or hear the talk in the community, what would you like for them to know about Aiken County Public Schools as the director, the superintendent of instruction?
I hear a lot of judgment about how we're doing in terms of the dropout rate or graduation rate, and whether or not we're succeeding. And there's definitely a false impression out there of what we are or are not accomplishing. We took a beating for our graduation rate a couple of years ago. We came up 6% this year, and that was basically just, yes, we did a good job. That was cleaning up our data. And what folks at home that don't have children in school don't understand is that students that have profound disabilities, and I'm talking about students that are nonverbal, that it's not appropriate for them to seek a diploma, they're counted as non-graduates. And so that's just an example. If we have a student that leaves our school system and they go to another state, or they move back home to another country and we've lost records for them, they're counted as a non-graduate. So when we say that 76% of our students graduated on time in 4 years with a diploma, it doesn't mean that remaining percentage just dropped out of school and didn't finish.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Excellent message. And I want to now move into a topic where we're going to bring in our other guest today, Ms. Anne Marie Taylor. First of all, welcome to Education Matters.
Thank you, Donna.
Welcome to Aiken County Public Schools. I hear you're new on the scene.
We are. My family and I just got here about a month ago.
Okay.
We lived in Camden for all of our life together as a married couple, and originally I'm from Michigan.
Okay, wonderful. Well, tell us what you're doing to help us here at Aiken County Public Schools. A little bit about your background and how you're helping us revamp our alternative education initiatives in this district.
Sure. Well, I started in the field of criminal justice, actually. My undergraduate degree is in criminal justice.
Okay.
Went on and felt moved, really, to work with students with disabilities because of that experience. And I actually went to school in Florence to get my master's in special ed there at Francis Marion. Worked in the PD area to begin with as a special ed self-contained teacher, teaching students with severe and profound disabilities to begin with.
Wow.
Then moved to Kershaw County and taught both students with mild disabilities as well as students in a self-contained environment there in Kershaw County. In 2008, I received South Carolina Teacher of the Year.
Woo!
Yes, there you go.
I'm ringing my bell this whole program. I like that.
You can ring it. I was the first special ed teacher in South Carolina to receive that honor. So
excellent.
It was a big deal, and I will tell that story every time I can.
Oh,
that
yeah,
was amazing.
You should, and we should too. I don't know how you found her, but I'm so glad already with what I've heard that you did.
Oh,
yes.
Well, right after, I don't know if you know this, but as South Carolina Teacher of the Year, you get to travel the state and take a year, what they call sabbatical, to travel and train and work with teachers in professional development. And as a special ed teacher, that was amazing, because every time I traveled, I was able to see firsthand what's going on statewide in classrooms across South Carolina, which was amazing.
Yeah.
Right in the end of that year as Teacher of the Year, I wrote a grant through the State Department to create a mentoring initiative for all new special ed teachers in our state, and worked that grant for the last 3 years at SARA, which stands for the Center for Educator Recruitment, Retention, and Advancement out of Rock Hill. And actually finished up that grant work in June, and was really looking for a place where leadership was making a difference. I wanted to go to a place where I felt like I could use my gifts and talents and abilities. I wanted to join a district that really had a vision that I agreed with. And I found
needless
Aiken.
to say, that's what I was about to say, needless to say, you found Aiken. Now, what is the, Dr. Gorman, what is Miss Anne Marie's title? now in the district?
She is the Alternative Learning Professional Development Facilitator.
Okay, so basically you've been working with our teachers and our administrators to help prepare us for our alternative initiative, correct?
Absolutely.
And what does that entail?
Sure. I work with them in regards to really now setting up the norms and procedures and really vision for what's to be this new alternative learning movement in Aiken County. So we're beginning with that. But long term, I see myself working with teachers and training regarding intervention so that we believe that all students, no matter what they come to our door with, can learn and be successful. And so we're really going to target each student as an individual, and we're going to target ways that we can change what we do as teachers instead of hoping that somehow the students are able to change. That's right.
That's exactly right. Well, I tell you what, I'm already excited. I hope you are. There are some great things happening in Aiken County and all over this state. In my opinion, we need to focus more on the positive, because when we lift people up, that gives them the motivation and the drive to want to do better and better. And certainly when it comes to talking about our children, that is the goal. That should be our goal. Miss Anne Marie Taylor is excited. She's already been doing some great things. And one message that she has already said that I want to underscore: we are trying to meet the needs of every child. And when talking about alternative education, we've got to have a paradigm shift. We've got to change our mindset on what alternative education is. And we'll talk about that in just a few moments after a word from our sponsors. You're inside of Education Matters. We'll be right back.
Does your child or grandchild need help in reading or math, or can benefit from preparatory coursework for the HSAP, ACT, or SAT? If so, contact the Barner Group Educational Associates. Our staff specializes in formatting an individualized approach to assisting your child academically. We offer low-cost tutorial services and educational programs. Participants may qualify for free services. To learn more, call for Alicia Cuthbertson of the Barner Group Educational Associates, 1-888-TBG-3996.
When it comes to grilling, I'm the man. Using Dawn seasoning and the like, I'm the grill master.
My seasoning is available at Kroger, Bilo, Food Line, Reeds, and Harvest. Look for it on display in the meat department. Also visit seasoningdelight.com for information and recipes. Dawn Seasoning Delight. It's so good.
Dawn Seasoning Delight is so good.
Total women's health care means treating the women physically, emotionally, and everything in between. At Magnolia Medical Women's Center, we treat and diagnose common and unusual medical problems related to female health. Magnolia Medical Center is a premium high-level obstetrics and gynecology clinic for women of all ages. Our clients receive the time they deserve without feeling rushed and unimportant. We are located in the Aiken Medical Center, 410 University Parkway in Aiken, Suite 2300. Call us today at 803-649-6366.
Need positive and constructive after-school activities for your children? Call the Martial Arts Academy in Aiken under the direction of International Olympic trainer Andrew Blocker. The Martial Arts Academy offers an award-winning approach to teaching Taekwondo. It's an effective approach to instilling discipline. The Martial Arts Academy also offers self-defense and fitness classes for all ages. Enroll today in this affordable program by calling 803-642-5723 or visit the studio at 2398 Whiskey Road in Aiken. The Martial Arts Academy, positively changing the lives of youth and adults.
I lead a busy life, but I still have to make sure my family eats right. And everybody loves Dawn's Seasoning Delight. I use Dawn's on meats and vegetables. It's healthy, tastes great, and it's simple to use. It's like having a chef in a bottle.
My seasoning is available at Kroger, Bilo, Food Line, Reeds, and Harvest. Look for it on display in the meat department. Also visit seasoningdelight.com for information and recipes. Dawn Seasoning Delight. It's so good.
If you are interested in becoming an individual or corporate sponsor of Education Matters, or to receive sponsorship information, call Donna Moore Wesby at 803-507-6793, or you can send an email to dwesby@edmat.com.
Welcome back inside of Education Matters. If you're just joining us today, well, you have missed a treat. You're just going to have to watch the rebroadcast because we're talking about some exciting news right here in Aiken County for our public schools. Joining me again is Dr. Kevin O'Gorman, Associate Superintendent for Instruction in Aiken County, and the brand spanking new to our district, Ms. Anne-Marie Taylor, who is helping us. She's a facilitator for our Alternative Learning Academy. Dr. O'Gorman, during our break, we kind of talked about the mind shift that we want our community to take along with us, because it's our teachers as well who's going to have to take this journey with regard to alternative education. Help us understand.
Well, typically when you say alternative school, people think of students that have discipline issues that need to be out of the school system. When truly alternative just means different.
Yes.
We've got students that might be very shy, that have medical issues, that just are better at learning online than in person. So when I say alternative learning, or when we talk about alternative learning, it's not just about students with discipline issues. It's about any kind of issue that's not allowing them to be successful academically.
All right, Ms. Taylor, talk about, if you will, in more specific detail, your role in helping us make this transition.
Absolutely. I think my role is really focused on professional development for teachers, especially regular education teachers that may not have experience with these types of students, and really changing the mindset that everyone that comes to our door learns differently in some way, shape, or form. And so we have the tools kind of in our toolbox to be able to meet their needs as we move on, whether it's technology, whether it's small group, whether it's taking pieces from the literacy model here in our district. There are so many choices, and we just need to really be informed as teachers that we have all those choices and that we can be flexible. I think the key is using data to drive your instruction.
Yes.
Schools and leaders and teachers and even paraprofessionals that work with our students, we all need to understand how the data can inform our instruction, and we all need to understand that we need to be as flexible as we possibly can so that each of the students are met where they are.
Wonderful. And to just underscore that we are trying to be flexible in this district and meeting every child where he or she is, I took a little tour of Pinecrest and met with Mr. Ben Osborne, who is principal of Pinecrest, the location of our new Alternative Education Academy, and also talked with Mr. Sal Manofo, who is Director of Special Programs.
Correct.
Is that correct? All right. So take a look as you get a peek inside the new Alternative Education Academy.
The Compass Learning is more geared toward elementary and actually middle school kids.
Okay.
That's where the program pulls lessons off their test view scores and their map scores, and it actually helps them improve those skills that they're actually weak in.
Okay.
The Plato and the AP is more like for credit recovery, like if a kid, let's say he actually comes here or she comes here, and then we don't have a U.S. history class that we can actually offer them.
Okay.
They can actually go into those labs and then receive virtual learning from those programs where they can actually get high school credit.
So in other words, with that credit recovery, a child that is sent here to this learning center can still get the courses that he or she needs. It's they're getting that instruction on the computer.
Correct.
So that's why we call it virtual learning.
Yes, ma'am. Correct.
And they're able to get the credits
Yes,
that
ma'am.
they need.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Plus, they can also come here and not only get credits that they're actually enrolled in, but then let's say they are behind. They can actually go to that lab and sort of do some catch-up work where they can receive some credit recovery, where they can get better on the grade level.
Okay. Now, traditionally, this center, which is called Pinecrest Center, has been the district's alternative school, or one of the alternative schools for Area 1 students, I believe.
Area 1 and Area 3.
Area 1 and Area 3, okay. And I know that with the new alternative learning initiative that this district is working on, we are somewhat revamping how we'll do things here.
Yes,
so with what you've described here on this wing for middle and high school students, will there be any changes with the new process?
Yes, ma'am. I think there'll be tremendous changes in the fact that we have never been able to touch on the counseling aspect of it. I think we've actually focused on the academic part and the behavioral part as far as trying to change behaviors and teach behaviors that are appropriate for a school setting. But now we will be having a guidance counselor, a career specialist. We'll be having school-based counselors. We'll have therapeutic counselors that can actually come in here and then work with our kids one-on-one for those counseling aspects that they've never had here. So which is tremendous.
I actually had the whole idea wrong. I was thinking that most of the instruction was virtual learning. And as you can see, this is a typical classroom that you would see back at their home school, so it still gives them that environment of being in a regular school, which is, it's important that they're not feeling like an outcast or anything like that.
Well, I feel like a lot of these kids need to learn skills that will better enable them to be successful at their home school.
That's right.
So if you actually put them in a virtual setting, to me that's not real world.
Yeah,
to me, that's just an option for our kids that don't have the skills or the tools to be successful in a regular classroom setting.
Right.
So we feel like if they can come into this setting and be successful here, and then teach some skills, as far as them being successful in a regular classroom, they'll be more successful transitioning back to their regular schools.
Right. So we are in the learning lab right now. Okay, so you've already told us what will take place here, and I understand that there are some things that we're doing to get ready for the revamping, and we're going to do some interesting things with technology. And Mr. Sal Manofo has joined us, and tell us your position, Sal.
I'm the Director for Special Programs, so that includes working with students with disabilities under the Individuals with Disabilities Act, Section 504, and newly guidance counseling services.
Yeah,
we also are responsible for occupational therapy, speech therapy, physical therapy, all of those things that support what we do with students with disabilities. And recently, we're kind of the co-directors for the alternative program, and so that's where I fit into all of this conversation. Speaking specifically about technology, I think one of the things we're most proud of and thankful to the school board for doing, for approving in the budget, is a significant amount of money that will allow us to upgrade the technology that we offer here in the schools. At this particular site, but also at our short-term alternative schools. So we have one at Paul Knox Middle School, one at Silver Bluff High School, and one at Wagner Sally High School to serve those students. And then we have a double lab here that will serve those students. So what we've purchased with those funds are desktops, 40 desktops here on this campus, and 20 desktops for each of those short-term facilities. So that we'll be able to provide virtual learning for those kids that need it. The other thing that we're enabled to do is each school classroom that does not have a smart board here on campus will be outfitted with a smart board. We are updating and upgrading the computers in each of the teachers' classrooms so that they can truly provide innovative instruction for the students to supplement their direct instruction here in the content area classrooms. And we've also are purchasing 2 additional netbook carts or mobile carts, so that will allow us, if we want to do, if a classroom teacher needs to do a project for a few days, they can utilize that, check out the lab, the mobile lab, and use it that way. And I think what we're doing here really is meeting the vision of the school board and meeting the needs of every student, and that's different. That's a different conceptual philosophy than what we've had mandated from the school board before, and we're excited about it because this is truly doing just that. And I know we'll probably get to it, but the ability to teach students employment skills and give them the opportunity to go to the Career Center and actually learn skills, use Project Discovery here on campus for all of our students to learn skills within a small classroom setting, whether it's culinary arts or it's retail or it's body, maintenance mechanic, auto shop. We're going to have access to do those things where we're really going to be able to get back to meeting the needs of every child, and just like Mr. Osborne said, giving kids a positive goal to work for, which encourages them, motivates them, and helps them develop those skills so that they can be successful when they get out of school.
And that's what it's all about.
Right.
I really like this. This is one of the a personal motto. Attitude is a little thing that makes a big difference. What also makes a big difference in our children succeeding is the support they get from home, their parents. And obviously with this school district making the investment that it's making in this facility so that we can meet the needs of every child, and I emphasize every child, it's not just children with behavior issues,
Right.
it's we're covering the full gamut of what each child or different children may need. But there is also going to be a parenting component in our revamping. Talk to us about that.
One of the first things we recognized was that with the board's approval of this initiative, it was too big to do. We have to put one team together and say, okay, we're going to take care of this as that group. And so under Dr. O'Gorman's leadership, he suggested that we break into subgroups. And one subgroup that we feel is incredibly important is the parenting piece. One of our folks, Jennifer Minikin, who is our family and school-based counseling coordinator, she and I have been on your show before. Jennifer's dynamic, and she just has a real passion for working with parents to help them be successful with their children. And so the parenting committee has been reaching out to parents and also other groups, Christ Central, DSS, the Department of Social Services, mental health, Aiken Moral Mental Health, and other groups like that to pull those folks together with parents and get input on what we're doing, what their thoughts are, and how that will shape what we continue to, our path forward. Recently she met and had a great meeting with the group, and we got some wonderful feedback from those folks. And a lot of the things that they had concerns about, like with the alternative school, what are we doing to increase communication between parents and schools, or the alternative school and the parents? What are we doing to provide a full breadth of services for the children, whether it's emotional support, conduct issues, parenting support? And so we were able to start to articulate those things. This is our plan forward. We want to do parenting workshops. We want to have parents feel welcome to come in here and be part of what we're doing.
Okay.
We know what needs to happen to help those kids be successful, but we want to bring outside agencies as well as district-wide agencies and support services to help and really make that a unified effort.
And that is what we call a holistic approach at helping to develop these children, and that's definitely where we want to go. So I hope you enjoyed that. We spent a good bit of time there that day, so special thanks to Mr. Osborne, Mr. Sal Manofo, and the staff there at Pinecrest. We also got an opportunity, Dr. O'Gorman, to tour the special education wing of the school. So there are just so many great things going on at the school. We're really looking forward to it. And I know that this whole effort is more than just the school board and the administration working on it, right?
Absolutely. We've got parenting committees, counseling committees. We've actually a total of 7 committees that are working on this, and we're really bringing the community into the process.
All right, wonderful. Any last words, Ms. Anne-Marie Taylor? I know you're excited. We're excited to have you. Looking forward to great news for our children. Any last words about what you're working on?
It just feels good to be part of a positive movement for kids, no matter what we do. And so I look forward to the work here in Aiken and to see great success from this project.
All right. Well, we look forward to seeing you come to a school board meeting with Dr. O'Gorman. I know there are many, many people who will be watching us. As Mr. Sal Manofo said to me, that this Alternative Education Academy has the makings of being the most innovative in the state. So we're definitely, you've got some cheerleaders, and we're very proud of what we are embarking upon in this district.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thanks again for joining me, and thank you for watching. Make sure you go to ASTV and watch us 3 times a day for the rebroadcast, or check me out on edmet.com and then go to videos, and you can see the rebroadcast also of this program. Again, my name is Donna Moore Westby, your host of Education Matters, where we're connecting you to the world of education one step at a time. Have a great day.